There we go.
All
All
Cool.
right, Dave. I bet you have a whole list of questions written on a piece of paper right there, don't you?
Yes,
Awesome. Awesome. Let's tackle them.
I do it as I go, so I won't forget. And some of them are just experience questions too.
Yeah.
But I think a good one to look at right off the bat on the list, on making list, I've realized the necessity of, I guess what I'm asking, once I put them in a list,
Uh-huh.
can I change the name of the list?
You sure can. You want me to show you how?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
because my plan is to, I mean, I have about 6 companies that I've been targeting, and within each of those companies, I'm prospecting several contacts, and I
Perfect.
want to name the list the name of the company.
Yep. Yep. So you come to list over here on
Uh-huh.
the left side,
Yeah, I'm there.
and you can create a new list
Uh-huh.
and call it anything you want. But if you want to edit one of them, which is coming in, awesome. If you want to edit any of these, so like I've got test lists here, a couple different ways. You've got the pencil over here on the right side. You can start there, and then I can call this, next test list, and just update, and you're good to go.
So you rename the list.
Yeah. Is that what you asked? How to rename it?
Yeah, but can I put but well, I guess I'm struggling with so for instance, let's say Boot Barn is one of my target companies. I would like to look at, I don't think I can do what I'm thinking I can do, is make the list name. Well, I can put it in parentheses there, or I want to make the list name like Boot Barn, and then have all the contacts I'm working under that name. That's not possible, is it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
what we would do, so let me show you this, and all this will be recorded in there too.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, what you want to do is come in and create a new list, and we're going to create a list for a specific. So you're saying Boot Barn is the client. Okay. Now there's a couple different ways we can do it. We pre-created these different workflows with preset settings. So if you're prospecting, what it's going to do is you'll have 4 comments, then you'll send a connection request message. You'll be prompted to thank them when they accept the connection request. And then you'll give them one more engagement. And then it'll shut down, and it'll prompt to say, now where do you want me to put this person? And you can move them into a different type of list. So as an example, with Boot Barn, they're all like, I'm assuming you're kind of taking an account-based approach. You're going to go and build relationship with anyone you can, with the goal of trying to get to the main person who's the buyer. Okay. So I would recommend we start with prospecting. And so we'll click on get started. And you can follow the instructions here, but it follows our standard workflow. You're going to engage with them every 3 days. You'll engage with them 4 times. And then it's going to give you a task reminder to send them the connection request.
I've seen that, yeah.
Okay. So in this case, in fact, I could.
So
want me to log into your account and do it for you?
Okay. Sure.
Let's just do this.
Yeah.
Although I should probably make you do it, so you have to.
Otherwise,
do it on. Yeah. Okay. So let me go back here.
For context, what I've done is anybody I'm prospecting, I just have them prospecting list, and then if I was already connected with them, I put it in the nurture list, and then I named the list nurture. Nurture list is the where I put them, and I put in parentheses connections, so I know, what it is.
Yep. Yeah. So the cool thing here, Dave, is you can make as many lists as you want. And I'll show you, like with mine, and some of this is garbage, not garbage, but some of this is because of test stuff. But
sure.
So I have different lists for different purposes. So like right now I'm in conversations with IBM about potentially partnering with them on some things. And so I have one that's specifically for IBM, and it's all the people that are, and hi, all the IBMers who are watching the video and they're now, my strategy. But look, it makes sense, right? I want to stay top of mind with them. I want to stay connected with them. I want to be in their network as much as possible. So I have one for that. But then I also have, and here's one that's good. These are potential partners. These are some of my friends that are social selling influencers that might be good affiliates for Fist Bump. I've got them in there. And then I have my Fist Bump alpha users. So these were like the first group of users that started using Fist Bump. And I want to stay top of mind with them because a lot of them are our champions and all that. So my point is, I have a variety of different lists. They all have different settings, and I use them for a different purpose.
So
that makes sense?
So if I started out with a brand new company today, I've targeted some contacts, do I go ahead and make a custom list and call it that company name?
Yeah,
would you do that?
I would. Let me say this. I would, period.
Be organized better, yeah.
Yeah. Then I would take a look at, like I made a list for a company that I thought I was going to really pursue. And then I realized as I started getting deeper into it, that the sales leader of the company was totally antisocial.
Yep.
And I just deleted the entire account and everybody in it. Not everybody in it. There was a couple people that were kind of active, and I just threw them into one of my other lists just to stay top of mind, because you never know, they may move to a new company or whatever. But it was no longer like a hot prospect for me. And so I deleted them that way.
Okay.
So let me show you how to do this. We're going to create a new list. And again, you have these pre-created workflows. Any one of these can also be tweaked. So as an example, we're going to create a prospecting list. Let's say you go, hey, you know what I found with my industry is that I really need to do 5 or 6 comments before I send a connection request. As an example, you can tweak it. So we'll say, get started.
Now, what do I choose when I import something? I got to choose one of those list names though, right?
Yeah, we're going to name it right here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is we're just choosing the workflow.
Okay.
Which is the settings. So you'll see here a reconnecting list. You get a little description here. This is your existing first connections, but maybe you haven't spoken with them for a while. And so you want to re-engage with them before you send them a message and ask for a call. And that's what this pre-created workflow is designed to do. So on this page, and hopefully I'm not confusing you, and Butch and Tom, you guys can jump in if I'm being confusing. On this page, you're just choosing the workflow that you want. And then the next page is where we'll name it. And so you have 3 pre-created workflows that you can always tweak, or over here on build your own list, you create it and you set all your own settings from scratch. So you have total freedom.
Gotcha.
So I'll start here. What I think would make sense for Boot Barn, we go create a new list. We'll call it Boot Barn. And remember, if you have questions anywhere you have the question marks, you're going to find it. And then if you wanted to adjust the settings, you have it right here. And then you can come in here, and again, all your question marks are going to give you information. So what it'll do is every 3 days, you're going to get a task. After you've engaged with them 4 times, it's going to give you a last task to send a connection request. And here is where you can write your own default connection request message. The idea here is that this might be 80% done, but once you get to that position to send them the connection request, I highly recommend you personalize it. Like, you know, hey, Dave, you know, you and I keep commenting on Tom's post, and I keep seeing your comments, and it's been fun and awesome. I also noticed we're not connected. Is it okay if we connect? So personalize it if you can. And then when you're done, you'll either say save list or update list if you made the changes. And now what you'll find is Boot Barn is here.
Okay.
And then when you go to LinkedIn, what I normally do, just in case, I will always refresh.
Sure.
Just to make sure everything gets put into it. But now let's say I wanted, let's say Brian was with Boot Barn. Now I can come down and add him to my list.
Okay. Now I have a bunch of prospects in mind now. They're listed as prospect. Can I make a list and move those prospects to that list?
You sure can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me show you how to do that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. So we come over.
Yeah, because I've been, prospecting hard for a few months now. I got a few things in there.
Yeah. So on the left menu, go to prospects. And then you've got a search tool here, so you can search for people by name. But let's say that you find somebody here. You click on, you're going to see all their history. You have up here, so this is all your activity history. Any notes that you've made, you can add, you'll see all your notes here. And then any tasks that you have upcoming. All you'll need to do is grab the pencil right here and come over here and choose to move them into a different list.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at poking around and just trying to figure it out, but I couldn't get that one done for some reason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now I know you've got it. Now I know that you had mentioned you're using HubSpot. When you can, didn't you say you were using HubSpot, a free HubSpot?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You may want to get in this habit, Dave. If you have somebody's email address, their business email, add it here.
Yeah.
Because once we do an integration with HubSpot for you, this email address has to match the email address inside of HubSpot.
Okay.
And then what it's going to do is it will take all these activities. It'll take all of this and put it right into HubSpot for you.
Does the record have to be created in HubSpot?
I don't know the answer on how exactly it's going to work yet.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. We've
Sounds
got to
complex.
get it where.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Tom and Daniel are here. They're smart and I'm not.
If it works the same way we're doing it with LeadSmart, is the record, like Christopher Tuck would be, the record would be created whenever you add him to a list. So let's say you add Christopher to a list, it would create the record. And then any engagement, which is in the activity feed, automatically gets logged as well. What we're trying to work on, which is a bit more complicated, is let's say you've engaged with Christopher 10 times before you added him to a list for whatever reason, to be able to carry over all of the stuff prior to the moving him into the list as well. That's a bigger job.
Yeah. This has to not be easy coding.
Yeah, but we're testing it with which, Brandon, I want to do some testing with you on this the next day or so we can kind of see how this all should work, and then we can decide where other platforms we can put it on.
Perfect.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, that was a great question. I really appreciate that. I know that we've got to start spending some time getting into some of what we think are the basics of fist bump. Daniel and I were just talking about it this morning of taking some of these key features and just train and repeat. Because he was talking about a really cool feature that we built. I'll be very honest. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot we built that. And we've only had this thing launched for like 90 days,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so
one thing you might want to point out, Brandon, if you didn't already, if you go back to fist bump, if you add somebody new to a list, it should automatically put their company in as well now. So if like Brian, it'll automatically put their company in the list as well, which will make it easier again when you're trying to do CRM or looking at even account-based, you're trying to connect with a bunch of people in the same account.
It's going to put it in the prospect list record.
It will.
So you'll notice here when I'm in LinkedIn, if I go to add him to a list, it automatically pulls in his company name. It tells me, it knows that it's a connection. If he wasn't a connection, it would be unchecked.
I see that.
And then you can choose the list to put them in. And I just had it this morning. I was putting a couple of people in a list and it wasn't pulling the company name. I don't know why. Sometimes it doesn't work. Daniel's looking at it, but sometimes, so I always just check, make sure there's a name in here.
You know what would on the wish list? We used to have a spreadsheet that was shared, and people just put stuff on the wish list. And one of those for me would be that record, the import. If it could import their title as well, I think that would be good information. What do you think about that?
Tom, what do you think before I give my opinion?
I think the problem in talking about that with Daniel is that if you scroll down, right, people can have multiple jobs and multiple. And so it's like, well, am I, which one am I taking, right? Because there could be many options.
The other thing is, like in this case too, his most recent experience says he's a digital marketing specialist, but Brian's the owner of the company. Oh, and actually he says it right here.
Yeah, it's just too convoluted.
People can really put anything they want in there. So there's a gray area there.
Yeah, I get it. And I know how to go back and put it in there. So it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
I agree with Brandon completely. If you can fill out the title and the email and all that stuff, so you have the full profile there. Because then when we start doing integrations, it just opens up the door to a lot of other things, and you're prepared, right? You're ready to integrate into other places.
Yeah. Well, plus for me, I mean, I'm still with a lot of people, I'm sure, I'm still figuring out different companies use different titles, or, I will rate the lead, on A, B, C, or D, and I'm figuring out what titles are the people that I'm searching for, that I want to get in front of. And so at a glance, I can look at one and say, well, for me, it would be, well, one's a marketing person, another one's director of construction. The director of construction is going to be higher level for me than the marketing person, if that makes sense. Just the point being, the titles they're important, as you know, but I get totally what you're saying.
Excuse me.
Dave, are you generally, like, if you want to get into, I heard him mention Boot Barn, but if you're trying to get into an account, do you generally take, a bunch of people from that account and start working with all of them, or are you cherry picking certain titles?
I'm cherry picking certain titles.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dave, did you see my, I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you see my video on how to discover people that are active on LinkedIn from a company?
You mean, were you the one that's put up yesterday?
I think I did it yesterday.
Yeah, I looked at that.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure that, I want to make sure that you and we're recording this. Well, other people, if you're watching this and you're curious, my video I posted on, what is that, May 10th, talked about it. And it's, I think it falls in the line of like account-based social, so that you're really going after and meeting and creating relationship with lots of people inside of a company in order to get magnetically moved towards the person you really want to speak to. And I think that's important.
That's very helpful to me, because even though I'm cherry picking, as you mentioned, Tom, I'm cherry picking titles, sometimes I find out that they're not very active. So I do what I can